What if I
Philfo
told you the
creativity
secrets of
for
the
your
universe
ideas
might be
with
hiding
Google Workspace
in a
7.
simple bowl of lentils? Seriously, what if ancient food wisdom and modern physics were actually talking about the exact same thing? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating and, I'll admit, pretty complex theory called philosophology. It tries to build a bridge between these worlds that, seem miles apart. Okay, so to get our heads around this, let's start with something we can all relate to: the kitchen. A traditional Indian kitchen, to be specific. According to the source material we're looking at, food isn't just about calories or vitamins. Nope, foods have their own bioenergetic properties. For example, mungi, or green dal, is seen as having a cooling effect on your body. On the flip side, maha, or black dal, has a heating effect.
And get this, it's not just about what tastes good. It's this incredibly dynamic system. A traditional cook, as the source describes, is constantly adjusting the ratio of these cooling and heating lentils. I mean, every single day they're responding to the season, the climate, even just the weather that day. The whole point is to consciously manage your body's thermal energy through the food you eat.
All right, we've started in the kitchen, but now we're going to zoom way in on the human body itself. This is where the idea of energy management really expands, because the theory suggests we are so much more than just biological machines. It says we're actually receivers, constantly tuned into the cosmos. So the source material presents this pretty remarkable idea that our own bodies, and our foreheads in particular, are like these finely tuned instruments. It proposes that the forehead is basically an antenna. It receives specific cosmic radio waves from what's known as the hydrogen line, and then converts them into microwave thermal energy that our body can actually use.
Now, this next part completely changes how you might think about something as simple as breathing. In this model, cosmic energy comes in through the forehead, right? Then, our breath, just flowing through our nostrils, acts as this incredibly complex biothermal regulation system. It's either cooling or heating these energy streams to give the body exactly what it needs.
So what this all boils down to is a radical shift in perspective. The human being isn't just a physical form anymore. It's described as a living biological computer, a system that's capable of processing huge amounts of information from the cosmos and from our own biology, all the way down to the quantum level. Okay, so if the body is a kind of computer, what's the operating system? That brings us to the absolute core of this source material, a proposed unifying particle that supposedly connects everything, from the tiniest particles to the vastness of space. But first, before we get to the particle itself, we have to talk about a key concept the source calls cymatics. It's presented here as the creative force of the entire universe, the study of how visible sound and vibration can literally organize raw energy and shape it into physical matter. And what does this cymatics actually create? Well, according to this model, it's not just regular stuff. It's a unique, fundamental substance called 2D biomatter. And this is proposed to be the very building block of all biological life within this entire framework. So, how do we get there? The source actually lays out a kind of recipe for life. It describes a specific process that starts with fundamental particles like the neutrino. You know, that tiny, almost massless particle that just zips through pretty much everything. From there, it moves through another proposed particle, the axion, and the void, and ultimately it all culminates in the creation of this 2D matter. And here it is, the star of the show, the Philfo Particle. It's described as a fundamental particle, and it's conceptually linked to the Higgs boson. But here's the critical difference. It's reversible. It can supposedly gain and lose mass, acting as this engine that both creates matter and energy and then redeems it back into the system. Okay, so we've journeyed from the kitchen into our bodies and down to fundamental particles. All right, hang on, because now we're about to zoom all the way back out and apply this very same framework to the entire planet Earth. This is where the theory draws this incredible, direct line between us and the planet. As this quote lays out, the body is seen as a miniature Earth. So high blood pressure is like a volcano. A heart attack is like a flood, and a stroke is like an earthquake. It's this idea that we're basically fractal versions of the planet we live on. And this whole idea gets a name, the Happy Earth model. It proposes that the continents themselves exist in these energetic pairs, balancing each other out across the hemispheres. So you have North America paired with South America, Europe with Africa, and Asia with Australia, all creating this kind of planetary energetic balance. And remember those neutrinos we talked about? Well, here's a claim that might just blow your mind. According to the source, they don't just come from stars or cosmic events. They are said to be emitted by the Earth's core, our own bodies, and even everyday foods like bananas, tomatoes, and beans. It's a way of connecting everything in this constant flow of information. Okay, we've gone from lentils to planets to subatomic particles. So, what's the point of all this? Where is it all leading? Well, this final section explains how it's all meant to come together. Well, the overarching theory is called Phil-Selfology, and the name itself is a pretty big clue. It's a mashup of words designed to tell you its purpose, to merge philosophy, an understanding of the self, and ology, or science, into one single cohesive field of study. But really, the main goal here is unbelievably ambitious. The stated aim is to bridge the massive gaps between fields we see as totally separate. Imagine trying to write one single rulebook for ancient alchemy, modern particle physics, and sacred spiritual knowledge, and then integrating them all into one unified framework. And this leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. This framework even goes as far as making predictions. It suggests that astronomical events, like the planet Pluto's position near a specific constellation between 2025 and 2043, could actually hinder the flow of these essential particles to Earth, maybe even correlating with things like midday earthquakes. So the question remains, could a single unifying principle truly connect ancient alchemy, the food we eat, the movements of the planets, and the fundamental forces of the universe?